with other angel groups. I mean, we're not super competitive for deals. In fact, we've done deals with other angel groups in the area. We've done deals with a lot of the venture groups in the area. If other angels are in, all of us mentally sort them into, well, is this person a relative and they put money in, so therefore, why did those people invest? What are they saying about the deal? But, we certainly are interested when other angels have put in money and made a financial decision that is not kind of friend-related or family-related.
Yeah, similar, a company's picked up a couple of investors, angel investors, that's fine, we just want to obviously see if the terms are favorable and reasonable. There's no problem with that, and the typical deal today is 2 or 3 angel groups and then 2 or 3 individuals. That's very typical, what we see all the time.
So, Anne, kind of a slightly different question. What, in your view, is the difference between a good angel and a bad angel?
For us, when we look at going back to this concept of the Ocean's 11 Angels team, what we ask the entrepreneur is, if you could have anyone in the world be your angel investor, who would those people be? And it typically means that they're sort of expertise driven. And so, if you're a business software and services company, there are certain people that you would really love to have on your board, right? Or just on your side. If you're a social networking company, chances are you're probably going to want to get on Lee Hoffman's radar screen when he was an angel. And so there are certain people that entrepreneurs will oftentimes come to us and say, these people we would love to have because of their background. Those are the ones that we really like to see, and typically has to do just with their background and what they've done in their lives. It just really adds color and connections that maybe we don't have at the time.
So is it a negative in your view if there are some no-name angels involved when they get to you? Is that a problem?
No, we've done that before. So the time it gets problematic is when they have board seats, right? And they think they know when they don't, and then you have your next round of financing, and then the troublemaking begins. That's when we find it to be problematic. But in general, a lot of the people who come to us, they've just been bootstrapping their way through, and they've been getting their friends, their random uncles to throw in money, and we work with that.
Okay, I can keep going, but I want to get your guys' question as well. Anybody have a question they want to jump on now, or shall I keep going? Oh, we got a question back here.
I'll start on it.
Weren't you one of the ones who wasn't the visionary? Is that?
I'm a consultant. I'm a visionary business plan. So, have there been any major corporations that have come up without angel or VC funding, let's say in the last 10 or 12 years? Did anybody think of one?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So the question is, are there any wildly successful companies that didn't get angel funding or VC funding?
Or either.
Okay. Yeah, okay. So who are the some brand name bootstrap companies that didn't raise angel or venture capital recently?
Well, Microsoft actually raised some money, but it didn't need it. August Capital, not August, where was he before? Was it August? Dave Marquardt went up there and kind of smoothed his way into the deal. So Microsoft couldn't happen totally without outside venture capital.
I think eBay was also like that too. They ended up raising money even though they didn't need it.
Right. So it's a fair question. There are a lot of great companies that did not raise venture capital going back to Hewlett Packard and Microsoft is one of the examples. But in the last 15 years, there's been so much venture capital around. It's an interesting question: who hasn't raised venture capital? And actually, nothing's popping in my mind. Anybody else know of a brand name big technology company that didn't raise any angel or venture capital?
Same good.
Yeah, one, pardon?
Same guy. They just.
Right, right, Dell back in the day, I think that's right, when he first started, he bootstrapped it. So, actually, the question leads to, however, the next question I was gonna ask, and you guys queue up your next question, which was, given the length of time that it takes to get funding, given how grueling the process is, and there's no guarantee at the end, what are your tips to entrepreneurs in terms of what they should be doing while they're trying to raise capital to survive, progress, somehow, build their company? Yeah?
I think for me, it's, go get customers, go talk to your customers. There's no substitute for that, and a lot of people come to us and they have all sorts of excuses as to why they haven't talked to their customers, but in this day and age, those excuses don't fly. You have to figure out some way of reaching out to people who would actually pay you for your product and understand what their pain points are. There's really amazingly creative ways of doing that, and especially on the consumer side, there's no excuse. Even on the business software and services side, I would say there's no excuse.
Any other advice?
Yes, sometimes it's hard to get customers if you don't have a product, and sometimes it takes a while to get a product, so I'm just a firm believer of, you've all got an expertise, right? Anybody here not have an expertise? I didn't think so. So somebody has got, I'm sure you should be able to sell your expertise to some needy company, individual, whatever your customer target market is. Sell your expertise in solving a problem that they feel is worthwhile solving. So they give you an hourly rate for consulting, or they're going to pay you a bundle of money, or 10 or 20,000, some small consulting fee. But find that model, find that solution, validate that value of what you can do, and then try to see if it's replicatable across the entire market. It's just I just found it to be a great exercise to determine if what you're trying to do is any value whatsoever.
Simplest thing I could tell you is just keep advancing your business. There are plenty of people in the valley actually who will work for a piece of the future action. And it's also a test for me, can you infect somebody with your enthusiasm for what you're doing? Can you convince somebody that you have that, what you call that lizard? Thunder lizard.
Along those same lines, it's also a matter of keeping the development going. The development also means that it's not just the development of the product, it's the trials that you can get yourself involved with. It's also signing up or getting involved with channels that will help promote your product. Because especially if you have a consumer-oriented type of product, if you can get the likes of, for instance, Best Buy interested enough in the product, that becomes a very good housekeeping seal.
Just to picture in my own comments, we see two types of entrepreneurs at the startup stage. The entrepreneurs who come to us and say, hey, just give us a little bit of money, and then we can hire some people, and we can do some prototypes, and we can do some sales, and we can buy some traffic, and we can grow our business. That's the one type. On the other hand, on the other type, we have the guys who come to us and say, we have no money, and yet we got some people, and we built some prototypes, and we got some traffic, and we started some customers. And guess which one the investor likes, right? So it's, the entrepreneur who says, gee, I don't get it, I can't make any progress unless I have money, is not a true entrepreneur, at least in our books. So there's, lots of ways to make progress. We see companies all the time, they're students, they're still in school because school is a great place to be, you get a lot of free resources and free labor. At postgraduate with grants of various forms, SBIRs, and it's kind of painful, but we've seen some great companies that have just trickled along on grant money. NRA, as Steve was mentioning, or some of the people, you got to, selling development contract services to generate revenue, to generate some prototypes that you can productize if you're smart about managing the IP side. Lots and lots of ways you can progress your company. And as Ann is saying, just talking to customers, just somebody who comes to us and says, we got this brilliant idea, technology, innovation that's going to change the way this sector does things. You say, wow, that sounds really interesting. How many people in that sector have you talked to? Well, as soon as we get some money and a